Hey guys, Hidrugon here, back today with another Hunter x Hunter chapter review. So today I'll be reviewing chapter 402, and in this chapter a lot of things happen. We start off the chapter with Third Prince Zhang Lei discussing the recently established peace treaty between Kurapika and Prince Tubepa. And then we flash forwards to Prince Tubepa, and he's talking about wanting Wobble to be close to him. So there's clearly some kind of Nen ability or something he can benefit from Wobble, in his own words, living with him. So then we go back to Third Prince Zhang Lei, who's handing out the coins made by his Nen Beast. You know, there's a lot of emphasis put on these coins, so I think they're going to have a massive impact later on in the story. Then we go to Prince Tubepa, who wants to make Zhang Lei the targets of the first prince and the fourth prince. So he wants to essentially use the negotiations with Kurapika to empower the third prince, to make him a target for the fourth prince, to try to get some infighting, to then benefit and capitalize on it. Afterwards, you've got to see Benjamin's soldiers. They're planning to use poison to take out Halkenberg, and Halkenberg is really a threat to everyone now, because everyone all throughout the chapter and throughout the previous chapters can hear his Nen ability. They can feel his power. You know, he is the new up-and-coming threat. And it was later revealed that it's possible that he is Beyond Netero's child. So that's very interesting. So then we flash forwards to fourth Prince Zuri, who's mastering Zetsu in an insane speed. And he's doing this for his ability where he can see in the future that gets activated by his use of Zetsu. He's managed to narrow it down to under 10 seconds to see into the future. And he's doing this whilst multitasking. He's on the treadmill, he's talking to people, he's got other things going on, and he's maintaining his Zetsu, which one of Beyond Netero's children, who's the guy who's teaching him Nen, he even himself is saying, I was born with Nen, I'm better than all these other Nen users, and even for me, it took me a year to do what he did in a day. So it really shows to how much the fourth prince is, if he can have enough time to learn Nen without being killed off, he's going to be unbeatable. I don't think there's any question as to who wins the succession contest. I think it's just how does the fourth prince end up winning? Because at this point, I just don't see a way he doesn't win. So then afterwards, we go on to the Nen Beast, which activates as a response to the Zetsu for the fourth prince. And for him, right, Zetsu is where all your aura gets shut down. So you're vulnerable in a way. And the Nen Beast that's collecting energy from his capitalizes on his vulnerability. So in fact, Zetsu empowers him instead of weakens him, which makes him very different from all the other characters in the series and makes him a serious problem, meaning that even when in Zetsu, he's still got his defense he would have if he was using his Hatsu or if he was using Ten and Ren. So then afterwards we go to everyone's talking about Melody. Everyone's fighting with each other over positionment to get Melody before the other one. Right now in the horse, we got the first prince and the fourth prince who are desperate to get in contact with Melody and use her as a way to get the one-up on the other princes. After that, we got the mark on Prince Fugetsu and his Melody talking to the Nen Beast of, the other prince. And they're kind of trying to figure out a plan of what happened to her. Has she been attacked by an enemy? Is she okay? Will she survive? And, there's a lot of confusion, deliberate confusion on the part of Togashi to make us as much in the chaos as Melody is at this moment. And then afterwards, of course, there's a guy who's there helping, and he's in love with Melody. And we see through Melody that she's very skeptical of this guy. So right now, Melody's in this position of all these moving pieces, and all these moving pieces that want to go towards her. And she's in this absolute mental chaos. So it's going to be interesting to see if she just breaks down mentally or how she can handle it. And of course, he's there trying to sacrifice himself, the guy who's in love with Melody, to create this plan, to orchestrate it so that the prince, Fugetsu, can go anywhere on the ship because she can make a portal and teleport to places she's been to already. So he's coming up with a reason why they need to go to every single quarter of each prince. And they've had it because they're using the death of one of the recent princes to go and hand out this note which has secret information on all the princes. And now this is very intelligent. This is very, it was very cool to see the different reactions each prince had in reaction to getting this information. Of course, we have the prince who smokes, Lazarus, who they think it's his Nen Beast attacking her. he's like, I'm not even going to pay attention to that because it just seems like a decoy, whilst Prince Benjamin's very attentive. So this is very interesting. Of course, he's the prince who's smoking. He's the one they're trying to get to at the end. And then afterwards, you got Basho, who comes in and helps with his healing card, his Nen ability. Because, Prince Fugetsu, she's clearly, like, about to die. She's not looking good. Each time we see her, it's progressively worse since her best friend dies. Now we're already on day 11, so we're already getting pretty close to the Dark Continents. We're almost a quarter of the way away, so things are really heating up. I think the plots are going to be accelerating very soon, because it kind of would work with the structure. Right now we're still in the buildings phase, but closer to the halfway mark of the Black Whale, I'm sure everything's going to pop off and characters are going to die left, right, and center. Right now we're still in the setup stage. An example that I would use is, we're a bit like, when Gon and Killua with Kite and the NGL for the Chimera Antark. Kite hasn't been killed yet. There's not been that event that starts off the next act of the arc. So now we've got Halkenberg, and he said he's ill. And this really makes you think, has he already been poisoned? Have the first prince's soldiers gotten to him before we even realized they could? And, there's a lot of questions, because Halkenberg is probably beyond Netero's child. Since Melody, and in this, of course, letter, it's talking about the circumstances of his birth. And what else could it be talking about? He has to be beyond Netero's child. It makes sense already, because him and Beyond Netero have pretty similar personalities, and by extension to Isaac Netero. So I could already see it, and I was already seeing, fan theories that it was him. And I think it's been confirmed to be true. And by the end of the chapter, we go back to Kurapika, who's there just looking at this information of the letter. So, what do I think of the chapter? I'd say good chapter overall, 7 out of 10. It's a very good chapter. I don't think I can give it a higher review because not that much happens. It was very exposition heavy, but I think it worked well. I think everything was effective. Everything kept the ball moving for this arc. I thought that some of the character interactions, especially with Melody, were great. I thought that it expanded the story, and I thought that it made all the minor plot developments, like the first prince's soldiers getting up with Melody. I thought it was linking lots of, plot threads that each individually weren't the most interesting, but together it really adds a sense of, okay, this is major and this is important. So I can see what Togashi's cooking up. I think he's done a great job. I think that overall, this chapter really, it enhances the scope of the story. It really makes everything accelerate. I think the fact that Prince Halkenberg could already be dying, once he dies, I think all chaos breaks loose. Because, we know about post-mortem Nen. And if Prince Halkenberg's ability, because of course, they've all got the leaves on their hands. If his ability is somehow connected to all his men, and he dies, and then they get post-mortem Nen, he might end up winning the succession war. Well, I don't think he will, because the fourth prince is that OP. But he might end up being one of the front runners to win the war, whilst being dead because his men are so powerful. So that's my kind of theory about how I think it's going to go. Now, talking about it in the scope of the larger arc, I think this is really, we're entering the middle point of the arc. I can kind of feel it. I can feel the change in the writing style. I just think, of course, as I said earlier, we need that one event to launch off the middle part of the arc. But I love how Kurapika is kind of fading into the distance now, and I think it's going to prepare us to go back into Kurapika and Bill and what they're doing. But I like the fact that at the moment we're seeing the other characters and it's, doing this great build-up. Because if we kept just on Kurapika, the world would feel a bit, it wouldn't feel like a world that's living and, thriving. We've got all these moving parts, like the Phantom Troop, Hisoka, the different mafia factions, all the different princes, the prince's soldiers, and all of these, like, the Hunter Association, the Zodiacs. And it all makes the world feel real, and it makes it feel alive. And it makes the plot and the plot developments feel spontaneous. It makes it feel, authentic, and it makes it feel unplanned. And I think this adds a lot to a sense of stakes and tension. I think this arc will be best digested by people 5 years from now that can just read it all in one go, or 10 years from now and they can just watch the anime and just go from start to finish. Because right now it's very slow, but I think that's more about the format we're digesting it in. So I'm keeping that in accounts. I still think 7 out of 10 is a good rating. And yes, this was Heijugon. Hope you're all having a good day. I will be reviewing every single chapter of Hunter x Hunter. You know, I make Hunter x Hunter videos every single day, so if you want to be along with the rides, you know, I'll be happy to be with you. And yes, peace out.